a very good afternoon to all of you, and Happy New Year to everybody across the globe. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon Dave is responsible for bringing you these amazing images live from the middle of the African bush. There he is. I thought he disappeared for a second. Phew. There's our little leopard. We are here on Djuma Private Game Reserve, which is in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa, with one of my absolute favorite little leopard characters. His name is Hosana, which means little chief, and tomorrow on the 2nd of January he turns 11 months old, and he is currently occupied eating the lunch that his mom Kruger has managed to catch for him. So he's managed to get hold of a baby warthog, and just to warn you, this might not be a sighting for sensitive viewers. Very often these leopard cubs will play with their food. The baby warthog is dead, but it can be a little bit gruesome. So for those of you with slightly more sensitive constitutions, this is just a warning that perhaps this might not be for you. He's still playing with it. I don't know where the rest of the leopards have gone. Actually, Dave and myself have spent the last hour and a half with 3 gorgeous leopards, Hosana and his sister Shongile, and his mom Kruger. I'm not 100% sure where Mom Kruger has gone, nor am I sure where the little sister has gone. I think they're probably lying up in some shade somewhere, but luckily we have the little chief to keep us occupied. We've been fortunate enough on our live safaris to actually watch these gorgeous little leopard cubs grow up, and it is absolutely a fantastic privilege. Let's just have a look back at what he's doing, because there's a chance that he could disappear at any moment, and I really don't want him to do that. And welcome to Keith watching in Maine, USA, saying that the whole place loves it. Well, it's wonderful to have you on board, and thank you for sending through that particular comment. It's lovely to hear from you. And I'm glad to hear that everybody around there loves our live safaris. Now, everything that you are watching is happening right here and right now in a place, as I said, called Djuma Private Game Reserve. So we're right up in the top northeastern corner of what is considered to be the world's most beautiful country. And it does have some really, truly spectacular wildlife. Now, these leopards are 100% wild. We do not feed them or provide for them in any way. They are also completely 100% protected. However, one of the big questions that we always get asked is, well, aren't we nervous being in an open vehicle next to them? Nervous? No. We are entirely respectful. We have to constantly not constantly remind ourselves, but always remember that we are in these animals' home, not the other way around. And we treat them with the utmost of respect, but through many, many years of guiding, and I mean these cubs in particular, they have grown up and they lived their entire lives with safari vehicles being part of their day-to-day existence, that we've become as much a part of their landscape as termite mounds and trees, almost, not quite. So they don't see us as a threat, they don't see us as food, and they are not going to jump into the car with us. So teens, you say these are your absolute favorite wildcats, and that one day you would like to touch one, maybe a tame one. Well, I have to tell you, and I completely understand that natural impulse to want to touch something as amazing as these wild animals, but tame ones shouldn't be tamed. Wild animals shouldn't be tamed. They shouldn't be in contact with humans. They shouldn't be touched. We do it because we love them, but at the same time, it is a very, very nefarious industry. So for those of you that ever approach something like an area where you can go and pet lion cubs, for example, particularly in South Africa, if you can pet lion cubs or leopard cubs, anything like that, that damages that animal for the future. It will never be released into the wild, no matter what they tell you. It cannot be safely released back into the wild, and chances are, if you pet a tamed cub, when that cub grows up, it's going to be fed through to something known as canned hunting, which is where they essentially hunt this animal for no apparent reason. It's very easy because it's learned to trust people. It's learned that people will handle it. And so, although I completely understand, where's he gone, Dave? Has he completely vanished? I think he has too. There's just a stick moving. Although I completely understand wanting, there he is, just the corner of his head sticking out. whilst I completely understand the impulse to want to touch them, please don't. Please don't ever touch tigers. Any kind of wildcat should live wild. They should never have any contact with humans. And that's the little hoof of the warthog that is sticking out over the termite mound. And there's his ear. He's not playing with his food anymore. He is tucking in. Steve, you wanted to know if a cub is dependent upon its mother, or can it be independent of its mother at this point in its life? Just. Maybe just. Steve. So they are 11 months old, both Hosana and his sister Shogile, which does mean that they are able to hunt for themselves. They're not very good at it, but we have seen them catch and hunt their own prey. Hello, mister. Just the top of his head peeking over. So we have seen them catch and hunt their own prey. So they could, if, which we of course hope would never happen, if something happened to their mom, they would maybe be able to survive, but it would be very much touch and go. They're just at that point where they are getting to the point where they'd be able to safely survive. Now, Vanessa, you want to know if they have any natural enemies. Yes, they do. Biggest one is lions. So the biggest threat to the leopards out here is probably on the whole going to be the lions. Can you still see him, Dave, or shall I try and shuffle round? Perhaps we should try and move for a slightly different view. There is another vehicle in this sighting with us, some other guests enjoying this safari experience. The other big threat, very, very big threat to wild leopard cubs is a strange leopard male. So one that hasn't mated with the female and therefore isn't the father of the cubs. He will kill her cubs in order to bring her back into estrus. Hi, guys. Now, Cynthia in Michigan. Oh, this is impossible. I'm sorry, I don't think I can get us a better view. Cynthia in Michigan, we're going to have to go back to where we were, I'm afraid. Unfortunately. Cynthia in Michigan, you want to know if this warthog is a snack for this particular cat, or is it a full meal? Cynthia, it's a snack. To be completely honest with you, I can't see him. Can you see him? Back a little. There we go, there we go, there we go. Let's go forward again. There we are. Thank you, boy. That was very convenient. Okay, let's go back. Sorry. Let's go back slightly. Cynthia, no, it's a snack. Particularly because he's going to have to share with Mom and his sister, which means that it is barely really going to fill his tummy. His mom is having to work unbelievably hard in order to keep her two basically teenage children, or teenage offspring, well fed. They're both growing, and particularly the little male, Hosana, that you're looking at now, he is growing at the rate of knots. So he's constantly voraciously hungry. Now, Shirley, you say thank you for allowing you this glimpse into this beautiful aspect of nature and into these animals' worlds. It's an absolute pleasure. You don't even have to thank me. I think this is probably the best job in the world. I get to experience these magical moments, and the fact that I can share it with so many people is a truly special thing indeed. And that is what makes wildsafariLive.com so special, because I've always found that in guiding, sharing the joy of what you're seeing is the best part of it. Now, if you do join us on wildsafariLive.com, you will be able to see Taylor with lions. I'm going to be sticking with these leopards. And not only that, but we will also be doing a TV show today at 10 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States on Nat Geo Wild. So join us to see more of these incredible moments. Are you hissing at someone? I think he's hissing at his sister, or quite possibly his mom. Now, unfortunately, that is all we have time for, and it's time for you and to take your leave and to say goodbye to Hosana. But you can see more of him on wildsafariLive.com. Until I see you on the back of the vehicle, have a wonderful day and a happy new year, and we'll catch up with you in the future. Bye-bye, everybody.